Welcome to Cinema Bites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. Our movie begins and we see two people in a car, obviously traveling on a road. We learn that these two are siblings named Beck and Cal. Beck is pregnant and feels tired the whole way. Her brother Cal is sitting next to her, eating. When she smells the food, she vomits because of her pregnancy. When they stop the car to make sure she's okay, they find themselves standing in front of a field full of tall grass. Suddenly, they hear a child's voice screaming for help from inside the grass. Beck gets out of the car, and Cal goes to park the car on the road and then returns to Beck so they can enter the field and rescue the child inside. As Beck is about to enter the field, she sees a book lying on the ground. Then she hears the voice of a woman, clearly the mother of the screaming child, telling him to stop calling for people. Cal asks the child if he can see the road, and the child replies that he cannot. So Cal enters the field to look for him. Beck stands there, afraid to go in, but eventually follows her brother and calls emergency services to inform them there is a child in the field and someone should come help get him out. They learn the child's name is Tobin and keep searching for him until his voice disappears and Beck and Cal get separated from each other. Beck tells Cal to look for her and reach her, and then they can continue searching for Tobin. He asks her to keep talking, and the louder her voice, the easier it will be for him to find her. Beck keeps singing, and Cal walks towards her voice. But something strange happens. Suddenly, the voice coming from Cal's right shifts, and he hears it from the left. He feels something illogical is happening, and tells Beck they need to find another way to reach each other instead of relying on sound. Beck suggests they both jump and raise their hands so they can see each other above the grass and reach each other easily. Cal worries about her because she's pregnant and says the idea won't work. While he's talking, Beck yells at him, telling him to stop moving in different directions because his voice keeps getting farther away. The surprise is that Cal is actually standing still and not moving. He swears he hasn't moved, and Beck is confused, saying the only solution is to jump above the grass and try to find each other. They count to 3 and jump together. They find they're close, just 2 steps apart, and are happy with their plan. They prepare to jump again at the same moment, but when they do, they find themselves far apart again. Both are confused and scared. Cal keeps running, trying to reach Beck, but they stop calling for each other because neither can see the other. Cal keeps running until he falls somewhere and finds a dog's corpse covered in insects. The dog's collar says, "Freddy." He gets up and continues searching for his sister as night falls. Still, no one can find the other. Suddenly, Beck encounters a man named Ross, who tells her he is Tobin's father and says she should follow him so he can take her to her brother Cal. Night falls, and Cal is exhausted, so he sits on the ground and cries because he's worried about his sister. Suddenly, Tobin appears behind him, holding a bird and burying it in the ground. He tells Cal that to find someone in this field, you have to be dead. He says his sister will die soon, then picks up a rock and says this rock tells him everything. When Tobin puts his hand on the rock, his whole body shivers and he looks strange. Meanwhile, Beck is walking with Ross in the field, and suddenly, he disappears in front of her. She's scared and calls out for him, but he's gone. Beck looks at the ground and finds her bag of belongings thrown outside. Among her things, there's a pair of scissors. At this time, Tobin is with Cal and tells him to put his hand on the rock. As soon as he approaches it, he hears his sister screaming, so Cal runs to try to save her. We see Tobin say it's too late. The next day, we see Travis, who we learn is Beck's boyfriend. He's looking for her and her brother on the road they were traveling. He has pictures of Beck and Cal and asks people about them, but no one helps him. He takes his car and drives down the same road until he spots Cal's car in the distance. When he gets out and reaches the car, he finds it covered in dust as if it's been parked for a long time. The food in the car that Cal was eating is covered in worms, as if it's rotted for a long time. Travis calls out for Beck, but she doesn't answer. He keeps walking until he finds a book on the ground, which belongs to Beck. When he finds it in front of the field, he suspects Beck is inside and enters the field himself. As he walks, he marks the plants and ties them together so he can find his way back. But as soon as he takes a step, something strange happens. The plants untangle themselves, and when he looks at the sky, he finds the sun's position changing. He's confused and doesn't understand what's happening. Night falls, and he finds Tobin, who tells him the field is full of spirits. Travis asks Tobin for help and is surprised that Tobin knows his name and that he's looking for Becky. When Travis is confused, Tobin tells him it's as if they've met before, but Travis doesn't remember. Travis is only concerned about finding Beck, so Tobin says he can take him to her, but doubts Travis will be happy with what he finds. Then he takes Travis and runs to find Beck. When they reach her, Travis finds Beck dead. Suddenly, Tobin disappears. When Travis wakes up the next day, He finds Beck's body beside him and takes her necklace. He tries to get out of the field, so he keeps calling for Tobin to help him escape. We see something very strange. Tobin, his mother, and Ross are standing outside the field, looking completely normal and unharmed, unlike Tobin inside the field. When Tobin hears someone from inside the field calling his name, he is very surprised that they know his name. Alfred, whom we know, sees that his dog Tobin is running toward the field, and Tobin follows him inside. They go in, and to catch up with them, he calls out to Ross, who drops the phone he's holding, and they all enter the field. From what we see, we understand that the field is something that controls time. We see the field and Tobin's family getting lost from each other until Ross reaches the rock. Then we go to the next day and see Cal and Becky in the car. They get out when they hear Tobin calling for someone to help him and get out of the field. When they enter, Becky and Cal try to reach each other by following the sound. Travis hears Becky's voice and calls out to her. Becky and Cal are surprised at how Travis got there. He tells them it doesn't matter. He's just happy because he found Becky still alive, not dead. At that moment, Tobin is crying and says that Alfred, his dog, died. Travis remembers that he told him the only thing that doesn't move in this place is the dead. So he tells Tobin to stand by the dog and sing loudly. So the three of them, Travis, Becky, and Cal, can find Tobin. The plan works and they finally find each other. Travis is surprised when he sees Becky because he didn't know she was pregnant, and we understand that he is the father of the child. Cal asks how Travis found them and knew their location. It's clear that Cal is jealous over his sister Becky and doesn't like Travis being in her life. Travis surprises them by telling them they've been missing for 2 months. He decided to look for them on the road they were traveling until he found them, but they tell him they've only been lost for 2 days, not 2 months. Becky feels like someone is watching them, so she tells them they need to escape as soon as possible. Becky gets a call from an unknown number. When she answers, she hears her own voice screaming and telling her not to let Beck harm Travis. They don't understand anything. They all run to continue escaping from the field, and Becky is terrified by the call. They keep walking, with Becky behind Cal and Travis. Suddenly, she faints and is about to die, but Ross appears, manages to save her, and revives her. He hugs his son Tobin and tells them he knows the way out, so they follow him. They continue their journey to find an exit from the place they're trapped in. Ross keeps leading them until they reach the rock. We notice strange drawings on the rock, as if they predict things that will happen in the future. Suddenly, Ross's wife appears and insists that he wanted to kill her and that they need to escape from him. When her son Tobin runs to her for protection from his father, Ross keeps telling him that she's not in her right mind, and that's why she's saying these things. Ross tries to convince them to touch the rock. When his wife keeps warning them about him, he presses on her head until it bursts in his hand and she dies, covering his face with blood. Tobin screams because he sees his father killing his mother. We see Cal, Becky, and Travis taking Tobin and fleeing from Ross until they reach an abandoned place. They hide there from Ross. Inside, Cal and Travis fight, and Cal reminds his sister that Travis once betrayed her and asked her to abort the baby. He says Travis is the reason for everything happening to them, because if he hadn't betrayed her and taken her on this trip, they wouldn't have ended up trapped in the field. When Travis hears this, he grabs Cal, but just then Ross finds them, so they forget the fight and try to escape. When they get outside, Cal and Travis climb to the roof to look for an escape. Cal pushes Travis so he'll die, then runs to get his sister and escape. When Becky asks about Travis, he doesn't answer, and she realizes Cal killed him. She pushes him away and tells him she hates him. Ross appears and chases Cal until he kills him. Cal dies, but Travis isn't dead. He wakes up again to look for Becky, but in the end, they don't find each other. They keep talking in the field from a distance, and Becky confesses she was traveling to give her baby up for adoption. While she's talking, Ross appears and tries to make her touch the rock. He succeeds in kidnapping her and throws her near the rock. When she wakes up, she finds the ground full of holes and monsters trying to pull her in. Strange bodies appear, made of the grass in the field, and they carry her to a certain place. Then Becky imagines that Cal is in front of her talking to her, holding something and making her eat it. When she's done, she discovers that it was Ross, who had transformed into Cal, and that the food he made her eat was the flesh of her newborn daughter. Becky dies, and Travis finds her body. Tobin comes and tells him that his father killed her and the baby, and also killed Cal. He says if they don't escape, he'll kill them too. Travis reassures Tobin and tells him he won't hurt him. Tobin realizes Travis is watching them now. Suddenly, Ross appears behind Travis and stabs him in the stomach to kill him. After Travis falls to the ground, Ross runs to Tobin to force him to touch the rock. Becky manages to save the boy from him. Then Travis gets up and kills Ross. He touches the rock, and when he does, he becomes just like Ross. We understand that it's impossible for him to ever leave the field, but he does this on purpose so he can get Tobin out and make sure Becky and Cal don't enter the field again when time resets. He gives Tobin the necklace that was around Becky's neck and tells him to give it to her so she'll believe what he says is true, that if she enters the field, she'll die. Tobin finds himself outside the field and sees Cal and Becky getting out of the car, about to enter the field to help Tobin, who's crying for help. He runs to them and warns them not to go in, giving Becky the necklace and telling her that Travis orders her not to enter. Becky believes him when she sees that the necklace Tobin has is the same as the one around her neck. She tells Cal not to enter the field because she feels something strange is happening. Tobin takes her, and they leave. She decides not to travel and to return to her hometown. When Cal asks about the family waiting to adopt her baby, she tells him she changed her mind and her daughter won't go to anyone. They bury him, and we see Travis reassured that his beloved Becky will not be harmed after he sacrificed himself for her, and he continues his entire life in the field. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos. See you next time.